Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft Glory MyNBA here in NBA 2K26. So last episode, if you did not catch it, we had the second round of the playoffs against the Miami Heat, and we managed to beat them in a 4-game sweep, so I'm pretty surprised up to this point. I thought we would at least lose one game against Miami, and for some reason our team was still really good against them despite them being the 4th best seed in the conference. So our team has had a really good run up to this point. We're 8-0, but I do expect in this conference finals against the Dallas Mavericks, we'll probably end up losing at least 1 or 2 games. But who knows, to be honest. Maybe this team is going to be torrential down the stretch. We've been such a good team, even with the injury, obviously, to our number 1 point guard in Everett Carroll. So I've been really impressed with how guys like Washburn have fit into this team. Like I said, I think Washburn honestly could be replacing Carroll in the offseason ahead just because Washburn's such a great player offensively that I think he brings exactly kind of what Carroll did for the most part, maybe a little bit less in some areas, but he's been a very impressive player. I've been impressed also with guys like Warren off the bench a little bit. His point production's been getting better. He's still relatively young, so he's a great player to build around too. And then obviously we have a lot of other older guys on our team, but I've been really impressed with how this roster's been able to still build on that success that they've had, obviously, the last number of years. And maybe there's a chance we could go to our 5th straight finals if we could find a way to beat this Dallas team. Now, Dallas obviously is a bit of a tougher team than Miami based on their record during the season, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a similar fate, I would say, because obviously we've ran into Dallas before, back when Cooper Flagg was at his peak. Obviously, he's kind of a little bit maybe dropping off a bit. He is only at this point 32 years old, but he's a 94 now. I think at his peak he was maybe like a 97 or a 96, but he's obviously still a tough player to contain. They also have a couple other good guys to contain, but you can see that they don't really have some great options in this spot. But they do have still some very good depth options, like 79 guys off the bench and all that. So I think it's going to be still a interesting series, and I do think they could take easily a game against us or 2 just because they were a top 3 seeded team in the Western Conference. So hopefully we can find a way to win. If we do get to the finals, though, it should be a tough task because I'm assuming it's going to be Cleveland since they're the 1st seed in the East. But if it's Toronto, it could probably be a tough team too. So going to be interesting to see what our team could do and if they could build on that success we've had in the first 2 rounds. So hopefully we could get it done. Also, one thing I wanted to bring up just because it recently happened, as in literally the day before I'm recording this and the day before this probably goes out, I did see that Miami Heat, obviously that Bam Adebayo had an 83-point game, which is the 2nd most in NBA history, and I just wanted to say that is an insane feat to have that. Obviously, beating Kobe Bryant, I know some people were saying it's disrespectful and all that stuff, that he managed to do it off of free throws and all that type of thing. I don't say it's fully disrespectful. I think it's a cool thing, obviously, to have people getting even remotely close to records that, like, Wilt Chamberlain had, for instance. Like, it's kind of insane that people are doing that in this day and age. Like, I think a lot of those records people thought would never be attainable. And I mean, Bam Adebayo coming 17 points, within 17 points of obviously a 100-point game is insane at this day and age. So I don't think anybody's ever going to break Wilt's record, but it would be insane if somebody did that at some point in time. But obviously you'd have to be putting up like 25 points a quarter, which is not really easy to do, especially with people fouling out and all that type of thing. So I just wanted to bring that up just in case any of you guys actually are huge NBA fans and witnessed that recently, because I got literally home from floor hockey and I heard about that and I'm like, god damn, that's insane, because I've never heard of a player getting that much points in a game. I wasn't really focused on the NBA at all in 2005-06 when Kobe Bryant had his 81-point game. So yeah, pretty insane just to see a player put up that much points in one game. But anyways, with that said, I think we're ready to get into this matchup. Let's double check the coaching game plan, make sure the coach has it set up properly, which I think it already was. But yeah, I'm excited to see what our team could do here. Obviously, Rex Wright's been like the anchor. Evans has been the driving factor. Wright has been the anchor that has helped also with him quite a bit. And then Washburn, like I said, he's been sneaky good in this playoff so far. Bishop, Westbrook, and Semenko are also really good fitting players, obviously. Warren's done a decent amount off the bench, but I'm hoping that if for some reason any guy drops off in performance, hopefully like guys like Spencer maybe could put up like a 10-point game randomly just to help out in case, because obviously some of these players could still randomly have games where they don't put up a lot of points. But I'm hoping Washburn brings what he's been bringing so far, which is almost 20 points per game so far this postseason. So Let's see what our team could do against these Mavericks and see if we could get back to that finals again and go for maybe a 5th straight championship. So with that said, let's get into game number 1 on home court. Obviously, we have home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs. So let's see what our team could do. Let's go similarly with Simcast. I almost forgot which one it was. I'm still a little bit under the weather, so sorry if my voice sounds a little bit rusty. And just trying to get back into recording things, and obviously talking with a sinus cold is not really that easily done, I should say. All right, let's see what happens. First quarter underway. We'll once again take a look at player stats at halftime instead of after every quarter in the first 2. And then in the last 2 quarters, we'll probably look after each quarter just to see if there's anybody that's at a risk of fouling out potentially. So let's see what happens here and see if our team can get off to a good start against the Mavericks. Like I said, we've played the Mavericks before in the playoffs, but that was definitely back when Cooper was at his peak. He is still a fantastically great player. Like, he's averaging, I think, over 30 points per game this postseason. So we definitely need to make sure that he's not on his game. And obviously that's a big task for a guy like Bishop to rebound against a guy like that. But hopefully we get some good offense throughout our lineup, and that could obviously impact the game a lot, because obviously if Cooper Flagg's doing all the work for them, they definitely are a one-man show. If obviously our depth scoring shows up, that'll obviously be good. We were getting outscored after the first quarter, 33-25, but now we're back into that back and forth territory, which is good to see, at least that our team is rebounding in the second quarter. So at least we're definitely having a better second quarter than the first quarter. It is still a little bit of a lower scoring second quarter, because both teams not really putting up an astronomical amount of points, but it is very tight in the early going here. And at the end of the first half, it is going to potentially be a tie game, maybe? It might be a tie game at halftime. It is. All right. We have a tie game at halftime. That's actually not a bad way to have it. Obviously not necessarily ideal, because I'd prefer to be running away with the game at this point. But obviously that makes for an interesting second half. 51-51. Love to see it. Shout out to Area 51. I was watching a video on that recently. That's why I thought that. But anyways, so far at halftime, Dennis leads the way with 14 points. We have Evans on 12, Westbrook on 10. And then it drops off considerably. Washburn's on 4. Bishop is on 4. Sorry, there's a reward scene that just popped up. Rex is only on 3. And we have Anderson, who's returning from injury. I didn't realize Anderson was any back in the lineup for this game. All right, that's kind of interesting. Maybe it's because we just readjusted the minutes and stuff. Anderson's on 2 points so far. Oliveira's on 2 points. Warren is on nothing so far. And Spencer on nothing. So far, a little bit of a disappointing start for most players. Semenko, Evans, and Westbrook have been good, but guys like Washburn, Bishop, Wright especially need to be doing better than 4 to 3 points. Last game that Washburn played, I think he was quiet in the first half, but then he really picked it up a lot, so I'm hoping he still has much more in him. Bishop obviously kind of more rebounds and does a lot of defensive things, like he's blocking and all that, so he's doing still some okay stuff. Rex is definitely kind of putting towards an all-around game again. He's got, I think, 2 triple-doubles this playoff run so far, so kind of makes sense that he's kind of being a hybrid production player, but we do need more than a 3-point shot. Actually, all 3 of his points came off of a free throw, too. That's not ideal. But Anderson obviously hasn't played a lot. Oliveira. Warren definitely could be putting up more points. Like I said, he's been pretty good for most of his playoffs, so I'd like to see more from him, but he is already at 4 fouls, so that's a little bit problematic going into the second half, because everybody else is not really in huge foul trouble. I guess Evans is, because he's also on 4. And that's also probably a reason why this game is as close as it is, because Evans is our best player. And if he's going to foul out potentially, we're going to have to rely on a lot of other people to get it done. So a little bit of foul trouble in the first half, but obviously at least it's tied. Hopefully some of the guys off the bench can do a little bit better, and hopefully guys like Washburn start to pick it up a bit. All right, so that said, I think we're ready to get into the second half. We're not even going to really look at team stats, just because I don't really feel like recording forever today, and my voice is really sore. I'll look at it probably at the end of the game, but not at halftime. So let's see how this third quarter goes, and let's hope that Evans stays out of foul trouble, because 4 fouls already, his minutes are going to probably be reduced a bit in the second half. So third quarter underway. Can we build up a big lead or something like that out of nowhere? So far, looking pretty good to start this third quarter. We have had really good second halves, as we're now up 10 points on them. But now they're starting to pull back into this game again. What a surprise. I feel like this is going to be a pretty tight series. It's definitely going to be our toughest series to date in this, not in this entire series, like YouTube-wise, but it will be our toughest series in terms of this playoff run. No question about it. Like, I definitely know that they're going to take at least one game against us, maybe multiple. But we are up by 4 points going into the fourth quarter, which is pretty solid, but obviously still a lot of ways to go. We outscored them 35-31. Let's take an updated look at the points and foul trouble. So Evans is up to 5 fouls now, which is not great. So one more foul and his game is done. But he is leading the way with 28 points, so he's doing his work offensively. Semenko didn't do anything in that quarter surprising in terms of point production, but that's all right. Westbrook's on 12. Anderson's actually coming into the lineup and doing really well. I don't usually look at Anderson as a hugely important player to this team, but 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals is pretty decent. So loving to see that, especially considering he just came back from an injury. Bishop is on 7, 9, and 1. Washburn on 6, 1, and 3. It's okay. Wright's on 5, 4, and 5. Wright continues, like I said, to do basically a bunch of different things. Like, he's not just a point producer. He can rebound, he can assist, he can steal, he can block, I guess. He's doing well. Warren's starting to get a little bit more point production. Olivero and Spencer not doing a lot, but that's okay. At least we have the lead, and that's pretty much what matters at this point. But obviously, we got to find a way to close it out in this final 12 minutes, so let's make sure that we get off to a good start in this fourth quarter underway. As this game is still only like a 1-possession game and they take the lead. That's not ideal, but now we take the lead back. This is probably going to come down to like the last few minutes of the game, potentially. It could even go to an overtime scenario, which is a bit scary. But like I said, we knew that Dallas was going to be the toughest team we've had to play to date. We are up by 5 right now, but it's still very, very close. It's a 6-point game with 2:56 remaining. Can we hold on? So far looking decent. We're now up by 7 points with a minute 36. Can we get it done? Up by 9 points. I feel like we should be good at this point, but there's still a minute and a second, so game's not over yet. And up by 9 with 30 seconds to go. That's more like it. They're going to have to foul us intentionally, so I think we got this game in the bag, and that is the case. We win by 10 points, 119-109. Solid start to the conference finals. I would assume we had some players foul out, but we do obviously get the win, which is the most important thing. Evans did foul out. He did have 28 points through 25 minutes, but we still managed to win with him on the bench for a good part of it. And it looks like our offense definitely picked up with him even being out, though, because Westbrook dropped 22 points. Semenko dropped an additional 7 points in that second half for 21 total. We had Washburn on 12, right on 11, 8, and 10. Almost another triple-double performance for Rex. Like I said, Rex isn't really putting up the point totals that you'd expect from a high overall guy, but he's doing a lot of good other stuff on the glass and all that, so shout out to Rex. Bishop on 11, 10, and 3. Anderson to 8, 4, and 4. Really important in that win, I would say. Warren on 4, 2, and 3. Olivero on 2 and 3. And Spencer just had a rebound, so not a bad game whatsoever. Not a bad game. Obviously no 30-point player, but I think we did a good enough job. Did we contain Cooper Flagg at all? Not fully. Not fully. He did drop over 30 points like he's been doing. 31, 12, and 5. But looks like outside of these 4 guys, they didn't get as much offense in terms of depth scoring as we did. And that made maybe a bit of a difference at the end of the day. Team comparison-wise, we shot 53%. They shot 50%. 3-point percentage, 32-30. And in free throws, 88-67. So the free throws made the difference in this game. Kind of similar to like it did when we were playing against the Heat, because the free throws end up being a difference in the victories and all that. So we are 9-0 in this playoff run going into the next game, which is insane. Let's once again rebuild rotations here, get the coach to basically maximize our roster. And let's keep it going. Let's get to the next game. Cleveland's already up 1-0 on Toronto. They might end up being a team we end up facing in the finals. Wouldn't be a surprise to me because they've been a great team the last number of years. They just haven't got it done because of teams like Philadelphia, I think. So anyways, let's see what happens in the second game. Once again, we have home court advantage. Can we improve to 10-0 in this playoff run with a win here? Let's see what happens. First quarter underway. And let's hope that we can maybe do a little bit better of a job containing Cooper Flagg, but let's make sure that we're not fouling as much. I don't want Evans to foul out consistently because obviously it's definitely hurtful for our offense if our best overall player is out of the game a little bit early. So I don't want to be reliant on our bench options to basically help us win games fully. I want to be able to have our superstar players play like superstars, but also have the bench guys chip in for like some important points. Not necessarily the best first quarter. We did get outscored by 10 points, which is not ideal, but maybe we'll have a better second half here, because right now we're still kind of struggling and keeping 10 points behind them at this point. But like I said, I know that they are probably going to win at least one game against us. I just hope it's not really this game, because obviously then we'd be going back to Dallas with a tie series, which isn't that great unless we find ways to win on the road, which we have done before, of course. And yeah, we're going to be down by a lot at halftime here early on, so I think Cooper Flagg's going off. We're going to be down by a total of, I guess that's 15 points. Not great. Not great whatsoever. I feel like we're maybe getting into a bit of foul trouble early based on that. So far, Evans is on 9-3-1. We have Wright on 9-4-3. Westbrook's on 7-0. Bishop on 6-2-1. Oliveira's on 5-4. Not bad. Semenko 4-2. Washburn on 3-1-3. So I'd like to see more from Semenko and Washburn in this game so far. Anderson not doing as much as last game, but does have points. Everybody on the team has at least 2 points. So we are getting like the depth scoring, but we're not getting like one high-end player running away with the points at halftime. And that's probably the difference, because if we swap over to Dallas, Vincent's already got 30 points at halftime. Holy crap. All right. Well, it's not even Cooper Flagg making a difference in this one. I thought it would be Cooper Flagg, but what's their name? Wally Vincent has got 30 points in the first 18 minutes he's played. He might break a Dallas record for most points in a playoff game, potentially. I don't know what the heck the record is, but he's been insanely good in the early going, and he has no fouls, so that guy's likely going to play the entire game. So we got to definitely get on him. He seems like he's a lethal shooter based on that. So far, he's definitely the difference in this game. Like, without him, they'd obviously be trailing, which is insane. So anyways, let's see what happens this third quarter. See if we can maybe claw back into this game. If we can make it closer again, single-digit lead for them only, we could definitely still win. So don't count us out just yet. Third quarter underway. Can we have a better third quarter? Actually, I guess we did score a couple points at the very end of the second quarter, so it wasn't as bad as I said originally, but it was still a pretty bad lead that they had. And so far, it looks like we're still not really picking up our offense. We're down by almost 20 points. So we got to be going on a run here soon if we want to get back into this, or else it's going to be too late. Yeah, I don't even think we're going to win it at this point. Our team is just not playing the way they've been doing. And this is probably going to end our winning streak, unfortunately. But obviously, we could rebound next game. But yeah, we're down by an astronomical amount. We are down by 23 going into the score. So I am going to look at player stats. But yeah, this game is definitely over at this point in time. Evans does have 17 points, which is solid, but he is already on 5 fouls again. Bishop is the next best offensive player, which is not ideal. Westbrook on 12 points. Rex on 9. Semenko only on 7. Washburn on 6. Yeah, we're not getting the same level of scoring as we were in the prior game. And if we go to Dallas' stats, Vincent's got 37 now, so he dropped another 7 points in that quarter. Cooper Flagg's on 20 points, so Cooper's starting to come alive, and Vincent looks like he's going to have maybe a 40-point game in this one. So, yeah, this game's over. We already know we're going to lose this game, but let's at least stay healthy. Let's try to find a way to get some motivation for next game, because we're going to obviously have to play hard, considering the series is shifting over to Dallas for the next 2 games. So this game is definitely probably way out of reach for us, unless for some reason we went on like a complete 20-0 run in a span of like 5 minutes, but I can't see that happening at this point. I just can't, especially with Evans being close to fouling out too. But it looks like at least we're playing a little bit better than them in this fourth quarter, but they're probably not playing their starters as much just because they're up by so much points already. But we're still going to lose by a ton. Maybe one of our worst playoff losses we've had. We lose by 20 points. 20-point loss. Not great. We did win the fourth quarter. The second quarter was decently close, but the third quarter and the first quarter definitely is where they end up getting a huge lead, as you could see, because they had a 10-point lead in each of those quarters. So definitely that's probably why we lost the game at the end of the day. But we knew we were eventually going to lose the game, so let's not hang our heads down low. We know that we could still have some good games ahead. So Evans dropped 23 points. He did foul out again, not a surprise. Westbrook 19 points. We had Rex on 13, same with Bishop. Washburn dropped 12. Semenko on 11. So all our starter guys were over 10 points, which is good again, but obviously there's still more work to do on that. Olivero on 5 points, Anderson on 4, Spencer on 2, and Warren only on 2. So the Warren only being on 2 could have made a difference in this game. If he would have put up maybe like a 12-point game, he could have made us a little bit closer than what this looks like. But unfortunately, he was not very good. All right, well, that's kind of disappointing. Let me take a look at Dallas' stats. Vincent dropped 42 against us. So, yeah, we got to contain Vincent better. And then Cooper Flagg had 26 and 14, so he was insane. They also got a little bit more depth scoring, too, than last game. But the big difference is that Vincent decided to show up for them. Team comparison, they shot 52%. We only shot 43%. They were much better in three-point range, probably because of Vincent, 45% to 21%. We were surprisingly better at the free throw line and had more attempts. 30 for 31. They were 14 for 20. I'm kind of surprised we had more attempts to the free throw line. Offensive rebounds, they had more, and same with defensive rebounds. So they out-rebounded us, which is quite a surprise. All right, but I think based on the stats when we looked before the series, they kind of had some better defensive results than us. So maybe they are still a very good defensive team because of Cooper Flagg and his rebounding. But we readjusted the minutes, so hopefully this helps things a little bit again. I don't really know what else I could do to make it better. Like, I could always put Semenko in the lineup instead of Westbrook, but they both get right around the same amount of minutes, so it doesn't matter too much, I think. The bench options, obviously... there could be some better bench options, but there's not really anything I could do. Like, I could put Bowman in instead of Olivero if I want to, but Olivero's kind of there for the rebounding. Anderson and Warren are usually decent, but who knows how they're going to play. All right, well, not great necessarily to have a tie series at this point, but it is better to be tied than being down 0-2. So let's find a way to rebound from that loss, not make it multiple losses in a row. Cleveland is up 2-0 on Toronto right now, so Cleveland looks like they're having a pretty easy route for the most part. Let's see if we could find a way to win a game at least in Dallas, so that way we don't fall down 3-1. We got to find a way to at least have a tie series coming back home, so... got to find a way to win one. Let's see if it starts in game 3. And let's, like I said, find a way to contain Vincent, especially after the last game, and make sure that Cooper Flagg isn't a difference maker either. First quarter underway. Let's get off to a good start here on the road. Looks like we're doing that right away. Our offense is on a 10-0 start, but now all of a sudden Dallas is starting to find their offense a little bit, but looks like for the most part our offense definitely started this game a lot better than it has so far in the series, I feel like. Which is a good sign, but now all of a sudden this game's a 4-point game kind of, which is not good. Now it's tied. Ugh. We started off super strong, but then we let them get points, and we don't really want to do that. So that's not ideal, as Dallas does actually have the lead after the first quarter. 29-26 it was, but now obviously we're back into that back and forth again. There's going to be a lot of games like this, I feel like, where it's going to be very tight. Last game wasn't as tight, obviously, as I expected, but I think these type of games are more what you'd expect from the rest of the series. But now we're starting to run up their points again, which is interesting. We're over 10 points ahead of them again, so this is going to be an interesting series. I could definitely see the series going 7 games so far, but who knows? If a team gets hot, it could be only 6 games. So we are going to have the lead 56-51 to start the third quarter and second half. So decent to have the lead early on, but obviously there's a lot of game left to go. Is there anybody in foul trouble? Not fully. Looks like Evans looks like he's going to actually play the entire game, so that's going to be a huge thing for us. He has no fouls up to this point, leading the team with 13 points. Bishop's on 11 points with 3 fouls. We have Semenko on 8 points, 3 fouls. Anderson's on 7, 1, and 4. Like I said, when guys like Anderson and Warren show up, that is huge for us. But the thing that's not good is they're outscoring Rex, they're outscoring Westbrook, they're outscoring Washburn. Those guys need to be much better going forward, because they're also obviously we're going to have to rely on guys that aren't getting as much minutes. So I need some more scoring from some of these starters, but I'm really good to see Warren and Anderson actually doing things to help us out too. Team comparison so far, even though I don't really want to look at team comparison at halftime, they're out shooting us in terms of field goal percentage and 3-point percentage. We're just doing better in free throws, but we haven't been great at the free throws either. So, kind of a mixed bag start to the game, but we do have the lead. Obviously, this third quarter is imperative to be good, so let's see if we can continue to be good, maybe build up a double-digit lead going into the fourth. Third quarter underway. Can we get some more scoring? And so far, we're doing that off the start. We're off to another good 10-0 start. But obviously, we need to make sure that we consistently put up a good effort because we can't sit back for too long or else this game will get close again. Damn, we have over a 20-point lead now? What the heck? Okay, now it's no less than that, obviously, but it's still close to a 20-point lead. I don't know where the heck that came from in the slightest, but I'll definitely take a 20-point lead going into the fourth quarter if that's the way this team wants to play. And that is the way this team wants to play. We're going to be up by 23 points going into the fourth quarter. A pretty big answer in this game from us after obviously the first quarter wasn't the best. Last game wasn't the best. But it seems like our team definitely has learned. I think it's because Evans hasn't fouled out yet. Because when Evans plays, he can put up a ton of points. If he fouls out, of course, that's when obviously our team starts to have a little bit more of an average play. So we need him to stay in games as long as possible if we want to win. That's just the way it should be. But so far, looking really good here. Evans is on 22 points, only the one foul, 9 rebounds already as well. We have 3 guys on 11 points, Semenko, Bishop, and Warren. Washburn's on 8 now, Wright's on 8, Anderson's still on 7, Westbrook's on 6, Oliveira on nothing, and Spencer on nothing. But looks like we're still getting a pretty even distribution of points. Like, Evans obviously is usually the one guy that runs away with the points, but to get a bunch of guys on, like, close to 10 points is pretty nice. So, we should be in the driver's seat to win this first game in Dallas and take a 2-1 series lead. So, let's just make sure we play some good basketball in the fourth and lock it down like it should be. Fourth quarter underway. And then hopefully next game we could take it to them as well. Because obviously the next game is going to be a really big game for both teams. If we find a way to win next game, we could potentially have a 3-1 series lead. We lose next game, it becomes a best of 2. Or not a best of 2, what am I trying to say? A best of 3, I guess. Best 2 out of 3. We're up by a lot of points. Damn, I did not expect this kind of blowout in the second half. I thought it was going to be close for the rest of the game, but this series has been a really interesting one. Like, I thought games were going to be neck for neck, basically. But there's basically games where both teams kind of blow each other out. This one, we win by 30 points. Last game, they won against us by, how much was it, like 20-something? So, that is a very dominant victory for your Anchorage Ice Tigers on the road. Love to see it. They don't even get 100 points in this one. Evans dropped 30 points. He did pick up 5 fouls, which is insane because he only had 1 foul, I think, going into the fourth quarter. So, Evans is an interesting player. I think his player type, what type of player type was it again? Was it like a hack and slash type of dude again? I can't remember what his exact player type is. Where was it that it shows? Or does it even show on any of these pages? I don't even remember. But I'm pretty sure he's more of a hack and slash type of thing. Also, this is hilarious. I didn't even look at this, but Evans, even though he technically was born and he was born and he was draft eligible a couple years into the Anchorage Ice Tigers, he said he grew up a fan of the Ice Tigers. I don't know that there is anywhere else I'd rather be right now. He grew up a fan of our team, even though our team only existed for a few years before he got drafted. So that's kind of hilarious. I don't know how old he would have been when the Ice Tigers first played, but I don't know if it would make any logical sense, but that's kind of hilarious to see what the contract thought. So he loves playing with us. But anyways, Evans on 30 points, leading the team. He had a really bad fourth quarter in terms of fouling, but he still put up a lot of points. Semenko had a really great game, 28, 6, and 5, 3 steals, and a block. So great game from Dennis. Rex on 13, 3, and 8. We had Westbrook on 13, 4, and 3. Bishop 11, 9, and 1. Warren 11, and 2. Washburn 10, 3, and 4. There's the Anderson 7, 1, and 6. Anderson's been actually pretty good since coming back. Oliveira on 3 rebounds and Spencer on nothing. But I like also that Oliveira, even though he's not a necessarily great player, he comes in and puts up a couple rebounds because those rebounds could be important for second chance points and all that. So liking the way our team kind of plays as a unit. At the end of the game, we shot 53%. They shot 44. 3-point percentage, we were 33. That are 21. Free throws, they were 65. We were 77. So we were better in everything. Pretty damn solid. And in rebounding, we out-rebounded them offensively and defensively. So that is definitely where we obviously, if we can play good in these type of areas, that could help us win games as well. So a 30-point victory on the road. Love to see it. Let's go back to game plan and get the coach to readjust stuff again. as we head obviously to game 4. Right now, Toronto is down 2-1 now to Cleveland, so both teams have a 2-1 series lead, so it could end up being very identical in both conferences. It is the 1 versus 3 on both sides, so kind of makes sense. Let's see if we can find a way to win another game in Dallas. We find a way to win this game, we have a chance to close them out on home court. We obviously lose this game, it becomes a best of 3. So can we find a way to take that 3-1 series lead? Let's get her done. Let's build off last game, because last game, fantastic basketball. That basically is the old Ice Tigers momentum that we've had. Like, we've had obviously 4 straight championships, but the way we have those type of dominant games is reminiscent of the team from last year, even though we lost some good players, of course, the year before that. So as long as we keep blowing out teams, we're definitely dominant. We've only lost 1 game up to this point, so we definitely got to be really happy with how we've played, except for obviously game 2 so far. But let's see what happens here in this game, see if we can play good offensively off the hop again. We had a couple 10-0 starts to quarters, but this one definitely a little bit tighter off the hop, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But obviously, if you get off to a really good start, you want to make sure your team actually continues to play like that, because if you get off to a good start and then you just play bad the rest of the game, you're not going to win. So it's definitely a consistency thing with the NBA, I feel like, mostly. Like, you want to make sure that you're putting up baskets, rebounds, and stuff like that every possession. So far, this first quarter, very close, and it looks like we will have to lead after the first, though, 32-29. And we're starting off this second quarter with some good baskets, which you love to see as we're up by over 10 points. Looks like our offense is basically picking up where it left off of last game, which is really huge, because we're almost up by more than double digits, almost by 20 points in this one. Obviously, still a lot of game left to go, but I'm liking the way we're playing, and now all of a sudden it's kind of getting a little bit closer again, but not necessarily super close. But our offense is off to a really good start in this first half, for sure. As at halftime, we are going to eclipse for 74 points, outscoring them 74-62, and 42 of those points came in the second quarter. So a very dominant start, but it's only a 12-point lead. It's not like it's 20 points like some of the games we've had before, but looking good at least. We're on pace for maybe another 130-plus point game. Westbrook's already got 20 points at halftime. He's been great. Wright's on 13, Bishop's on 10, Semenko and Warren are on 8. Where the heck is Evans? Only on 7, and he's only got 1 foul, so he's not shooting the ball the best right now, but we know that Evans usually plays good in the second half, so I'd expect him to get a little bit over-aggressive, maybe take some fouls, but also get a lot of points and help us out. We have Anderson on 4 points, we have Spencer on 4 off the bench. Washburn has nothing so far, damn. Oliveira on nothing either. So a couple guys maybe underperforming a little bit. But Westbrook obviously picking up 20 points and Wright already on 13. Bishop already being on 10. At least those guys are playing good. And if we look at team comparisons so far, we're 61-47 for them, 47-40 for us, and then 100% to 73%. They've had more trips to the free throw line, but we are 15 for 15, which is great. All right, well, this is a big third quarter again. Once again, we got to play strong. We had a big lead at one point. It is still a big lead, but obviously a couple possessions for them if they get points and we don't get anything. This could be a very close game again. So let's play strong in the third, and let's see if Evans could show up here a little bit more in this third quarter and the fourth quarter as well. Third quarter underway. And now it's a 10-point game, and it's still a 10-point game. As long as we match them point for point, it shouldn't be that bad. But obviously, if we go on a spell where we're not shooting the ball well, that's not going to be good for us. So we got to just make sure to keep on the momentum, so to speak. Can't slow down at any point. Looks like we're not doing that so far. We're not slowing down at all. Love to see it. Love to see it. That's a sign of a true championship caliber team, when the team does not slow down. And we're going to be up by 20 points going into the fourth quarter, it looks like. Unless they have free throws or we have free throws. But a very solid third quarter, outscoring them 34-26. We should be able to put this game in the bag, but obviously we want to make sure we do that. So let's not say that early. Westbrook on 22 points, Wright's on 18, Bishop's on 17. Evans is coming alive a little bit more, 16 points for him. Semenko on 11, Warren's on 10. That depth scoring is why we're a good team. 2, 4, 6 players with 10 or more points. And of course, having Anderson punting 5 points. Washburn's not been the best in this game, but 5 points for him has been good. 7 assists is nice. Spencer on 4 points has also helped. Olivero is obviously just rebounding when he's out there. Like, literally the last few games he's played, no points, and I think he's got a total of like 10 rebounds in 3 games. So that's kind of funny. Kind of funny. Or 4 games or whatever the heck it's been. But he's definitely out there just to help out with the rebounding. Like, he might be out there when a guy has free throws just to get ourselves a defensive rebound, and then he might chuck it up court or something. But anyways, big lead for us so far. Can we have a good fourth quarter and lock this game down? We've been playing really good here on the road in Dallas. Just got to find a way to win here now. And then we have a chance, obviously, to close out the series on home court if we do that. So, third quarter underway. Can we play good in this fourth? So far, not off to the strongest of starts. It's a little bit more even, but even if it's even, that will help us. Did I just say even if it's even? Yeah, I did. Damn, man, that's a tongue twister. All of a sudden, it's a 10-point game. That's a bit scary, but we are still making sure that they don't get too close to us, but they're definitely outplaying us in this fourth quarter a bit. Not by a much, but we are still playing at least enough that we are going to probably get the victory here, unless we fall apart in these last few seconds, because we're only up by 5 with 18 seconds to go out of nowhere. So a little bit of a drag in the fourth quarter, not going to lie, but it should be enough. It will be enough. We win by only 5 points at the end of the game. Definitely took our foot off the gas in that fourth, but I'm glad that we still found a way to win both games in Dallas. So I'm not going to complain too much about that fourth quarter, but definitely a little bit scarier than it needed to be. At the end of the game, Westbrook drops 25 points. We had Wright on 22, Evans on 20, Bishop on 20. So 4 players on over 20 points is fantastic. Bishop fouled out as well, so maybe that's a big reason why, because obviously that means more rebounds for Cooper Flagg. Washburn on 16 points, so Washburn picked it up in the second half, or the fourth quarter especially. Semenko on 14 points. We had Warren on 10 points, Anderson 5, Spencer 4, and nothing for Olivero. But that depth scoring is insane. 4 players on over 20 points, 7 players over 10 points per game in that one. Fantastic. Fantastic. Team comparison, we shot 56%. They shot 52%. 3-point percentage, we're 48 to their 39. And free throws, we were 90%. They were 74%. They had 8 more trips to the free throw line. If they would, or I actually had 10 more trips to the free throw line. Or no, never mind, it was 8 more. I was just looking at the total. But if they would have hit the 10 more free throws than they, or 8 more free throws they had than us, they would have won the game. But they didn't do that. They did not do that. So the difference in the game came down to free throws, which is insane. Offensive rebounds, we had more than they did. And defensive rebounds, we were tied. But actually, yeah, they had a lot more offensive rebounds. What the hell? I didn't even realize how much they had. 20 offensive rebounds. And we only had 11. So I think that's also because Bishop was out of the rest of the game after he fouled out. But that is insane. To have over 20 offensive rebounds. Usually we've been seeing teams around 11 or so, but not at 20, I don't think. But still a nice victory for our team, at least. We have a 3-1 series lead. Cleveland also has a 3-1 series lead, so it could be a Cleveland matchup in the finals. It looks like that way early on here, at least. And it just comes down to if we could find a way to win this game. If we win this game, we obviously go to the finals again. We lose this game, and then who knows what the heck happens the rest of the series. But can we find a way to get back to the finals for the 5th consecutive season? Obviously, if we have a chance to do so, we'll jump in and watch the last little bit and see us celebrate with the Western Conference Championship Award again. But can we find a way back to the NBA Finals? Can we do it? Can we do it? Can guys on our team at least not foul as much? And can we get everybody kind of scoring again here like it's been for the last few games? Let's see what happens. First quarter underway. Let's get off to a good start here, boys. We have our fans behind us. This building is going to have so much championship banners if we could find a win another. We already have 4 straight, so we should hypothetically have a lot of banners in our arena, which we could actually maybe take a look at after the game if we find a way to win this one. But we've just been such a dominant team this universe that it is pretty insane what this team has been able to accomplish. Even with losing, like I said, some good players. I think we're going to definitely lose more this offseason, but I think we're still going to be probably strong enough to make the playoffs, but I don't know if we're going to be able to go for a 6th straight. That was a really good first quarter. We outscored them 37-21. As it looks like for the most part, our team is playing some pretty good basketball here in the early going in this game, which means they definitely are hungry to go back to that championship, as we're almost up by over 20 points at this point in time again. And now all of a sudden it's getting closer again, which is a bit scary, but it is what it is. My voice is also trying to die on me while I'm recording this, but it is okay. I'm going to try not to clear my throat. 24 seconds left in the second quarter. We're up by 13 points, and we will have a 13-point lead going into halftime. Great start. Obviously not necessarily a great second quarter, I guess, to follow up that first quarter, but the first quarter was fantastic, and hopefully that sets the tone for the rest of this game, basically. But so far, leading away, Evans is already on 4 fouls, so that's probably why this game all of a sudden got close again. He's fouled 4 people through 13 minutes, and he's got 12 points. We have Warren on 9 points, Washburn, Bishop, and Spencer on 8 points. How the heck does Spencer have 8 points through 7 minutes? Damn. Like I said before, I think Spencer has a really good ceiling. I think he could be a great offensive player. And obviously, he hasn't really shown that this postseason so far. But this game is definitely one of those that he's showing he has a bit of an offensive capability. We also have Rex on 5 points, Westbrook's on 5, Anderson's on 3, Olivero on 3 and 3, Semenko on 2, and that's it. So if Semenko, Westbrook, Anderson, and Wright could get going a bit, that would definitely help us contain this win. Olivero having 3 points is funny just because I literally just shouted him out for saying, hey, he only rebounds, but he apparently picked up a 3-point shot, which is great to see. Considering his 3-point shooting, I don't think is very good, if I'm not mistaken. Let's actually take a look at that just for fun. How is his 3-point shooting as a rating? It's a D rating, but he somehow hit a 3-pointer, it says. So he might have hit his first career 3. Who knows? But we do have the lead, which is good. Let's find a way to have a good third quarter here, because obviously whoever has a good third quarter here might be the team with the lead going into the fourth. So let's play some strong defensive basketball, but let's make sure that we're not fouling crazily, because if Evans fouls out in this game, that's when Dallas will find a way to get this game very close again. All right, let's see what happens in this third quarter. See if we could build on this lead. If we play good here, we could obviously secure ourselves in the finals. So, third quarter underway. Third quarter. Actually, wait. Did I go play? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh my goodness. No, that's not good. I don't want to be watching the entire third and fourth quarter. That'd take too long. I could go back to Simcast with it, though. That's good. You could go back to Simcast in this. I completely forgot you could do that. Thank God for 2K actually having some smarts. But we'll go back to Simcast until at least this game is near the end of it. But let's continue the simulation, see what we got here. Hopefully this third quarter is good for us. Sorry that this background is moving around behind the screen now, though. That's the only thing that's a little bit distracting. Yeah, I accidentally pressed play game, and obviously I don't want to be watching an entire third and fourth quarter. Even though it would be fun, it would just make this episode way too long. And I don't know how much people actually would want to watch the AI play for that long. All right, third quarter is winding down. It is still a very close game now all of a sudden, and it's going to be a single-digit lead, which is not ideal, but actually, no, it's not. No, it is still single digits. Just under a double-digit lead, but we have a 91-83 lead. They outscored us 33-28, so all of a sudden this game is getting pretty close, which is not great for us in a way, but Warren leads the way in points for our team with 15 points, which is kind of surprising. We have Bishop on 15, Washburn on 13. Evans is still on 12. He hasn't fouled out yet, so that's good news. Spencer's still on the 8. Rex is on 7. Westbrook's on 7. Semenko on 6. Anderson on 5. Olivero on 3. And that's it. All right, well, we're in a good spot. We just need to make sure that we don't give them a run, of course. Because if they go on a run, this could be a 2 to 3 point game again all of a sudden. So let's have a good fourth. And we'll start the simulation. But like I said, if we have a big lead and there's like a few minutes left, we'll probably jump in and see if our team can close them out. Fourth quarter underway. Come on, boys. Get that offense going. You know you have that offensive capability. We have it over a 10-point lead again. We're playing some good basketball here in the early going, but there's still a lot of time on the clock, of course. Now they're starting to get their offense going. It's a 6-point game with 5 minutes left. Oh my goodness, this is going to be close, isn't it? 7-point game with 4:23. All right, still close. 6-point game now again. 4-point game with 3:41. Ooh, come on, boys. Hold on. 2-point game with 3:31. Oh, no. I don't feel good about this. I do not feel good about this. But this team's got to show that they have that strength. It's a home game. You got to find a way to win this. And this game is tied. They take the lead with a 3-point shot, I guess. Oh, no. And now they have a 3-point lead. Yeah, our team is botching this right now. Did Evans foul out? No, he has not yet. I'm surprised he hasn't done much. He's only played 17 minutes, though, so I really hope he didn't get hurt, because that would be very bad. Very bad at this point. All right, well, since there's 2:49 left and this is a crucial game, you know what? We're going to actually just jump in and watch the rest. So let's go play in and jump in, and we're going to obviously go to watched AI instead. But we're going to watch this last bit. Even though we're trailing, we might as well see if our team can pull off a clutch points and find a way to win this still. If they don't, of course, obviously there's another game after this. But if we do find a way to win it, it'll be kind of fun to see. As it looks like Bishop is at the free throw line here in the late stages of the fourth. I don't know how good his free throw shooting is. I'd assume it's okay, but he's a big man, so who knows. Come on, Bishop. You got this. His shot. Yep, you got it. Okay. 2-point game. Love to see it. I would assume it's only going to be 2 shots because I don't think he would chuck up a 3-point shot really that often because he's usually more in front of the net more often. These are some big points if we could get them, but obviously it's still, like, regardless, it's going to be a 1-possession game after this. So if we could get some good defense, that'd be huge for us. And he hits both of them. It's a 1-point game. All right, let's get a good stoppage here, boys. Let's find a way to make sure they don't get points on this possession because that could definitely help us. Cotton throws it down to Harden. I don't know why Cooper Flagg isn't out there if he fouled out or something, but Pavin, there's the pick. Pavin will try and shoot for 3, and he hits it. Damn it. That is a great shot, and that's not one we want to give up. We got to be on those type of pick and roll plays. Rex is going to look for 3, but he's not going to shoot because there's no opening. He finds it to Bishop. Bishop looks around, finds Evans will shoot for 3, and he'll hit. Great matchup. This is a really good match. 1-point game again. Nice to see Evans pick up a 3. Of course, he's our best player, but it's good to see him still being a lethal 3-point shooter. Vincent will shoot for 3. He'll miss. That's a big rebound by Bishop. He throws it up. Rex will run in. Rex in tight. Nice passing by our team. Rex will shoot for 3, and he'll miss a wide open 3. That was some good ball movement, but maybe we shot too quick. We probably should have been a bit more patient as they miss another shot. Bishop, another big rebound. Westbrook kicks it out. Evans will shoot for 3 again, and he will hit. And 4-2 in his bounce on that one puts us up by 2. That's a little bit of a lucky bounce on that, but Evans with 2 big threes at this point. Like I said, he's our clutch guy. We need a big defensive stoppage here. That would be very helpful if we could get one. Okay, come on, boys. Vincent's going to try for the 3-point shot. No, he throws it over to Cotton, who's got a good 3-point shooting, but he missed. That's surprising. Evans. Well, we're on in again. Evans goes inside, finds Bishop in front, and he gets it to go. Great pass from Evans, and Bishop was right there in his spot where he probably gets most of his points. And we have a 4-point lead going into the last minute, and they'll take a timeout. Wow. What a turn of events. A couple 3-point shots from Evans put us up, and then a great pass from Evans into Bishop. And yeah, Bishop's not going to miss when he's in that tight. Unless he's up against a taller dude than he is, but he's not super tall. As there's some crazy-ass fans cheering. But let's skip through this timeout part. 54 seconds. Still a lot of time in this game. Might be a couple more timeouts, too. Oh, my goodness. Very, very stressful sometimes, these games. And there's Jason Kidd, Dallas' head coach, still at this point. Just funny. All right. The inbound by Dallas in our zone. Harden will kick it out. If he can find a person open, he'll find Vincent. Vincent will look around. Vincent's dangerous in the series. Vincent will run in. He'll try and get some contact. Throws it out to Cooper Flagg, who's now back out there again. Flagg will look around. He'll shoot for 3, and he'll miss that shot. A big rebound from Rex. And we get an open Evans, who will run in and throw it back to Bishop. Westbrook will kill some time off the clock. And they're not intentionally fouling yet, surprisingly. Bishop will shoot for 3. He'll miss. I don't know why Bishop shot for 3, because like I said, I don't think he does that often. But oh well. As there's not a lot of time on the clock yet, and it's a 2-possession game, they get the 2-pointer. It's a 2-point game with 13 seconds to go. 13.7 to be exact. as they now have to get to the intentionally foul, and they intentionally foul Westbrook, or was that Washburn? Washburn, I think. Yeah, it's Washburn. I could really even tell with the font, but Washburn should be able to hit these. He's a good shooter, so. But I think it said that Pavin for them is on 5 fouls, so he's close to fouling out. All right, come on, Washburn. Nice. He hits the first shot, puts us back up by 3. Like I said, Washburn, he is maybe the guy to replace Carroll next season, so these are some big baskets for him. Can he hit a second? He does. That's big. Puts us back up by 4 again. Obviously, if he missed that, they could have literally found a way to tie the game up on the next shot, but now they still need to put up like a 3-point shot and get next possession in 12.9 seconds, which is doable, but obviously it's going to be tougher for them to do it with our crowd behind us and with us being obviously a decent defensive team, or a pretty solid defensive team, I'd say. All right. Our arena is pretty electric. A lot of fans in the crowd now. Really good to see how this team is built up over the last few years. All right, here we go. They're going to inbound the ball. They'll throw it out. They go for a quick 3, and they miss it. Big rebound by Evans. They'll intentionally foul again, but if we hit even 1 free throw or 2 free throws, this game should be probably over at that point. As Rex is, I think, a decent free throw shooter too, so he should be able to get these. But that was a big miss by them, and then obviously a big rebound by us. But we should have this in the bag. It looked a little nerve-wracking when we were down by a couple points, but those plays by Evans, big. And there's Wright hitting one. We're up by 5. That should wind down this game, basically, at this point. You would hope, at least. Will Rex hit the second? And yes, he will. Let's go, Rex. Our free throw shooting is always the difference maker, too, it seems like right now, as they'll try and get a quick play up to our side. They're going to have to shoot a 3 fast. Cotton will miss, and that is the game. Your Anchorage Ice Tigers have eliminated the Dallas Mavericks in Game 5, which means we've only lost 1 game up to this point. But we're going back to the NBA Finals again, as you see Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks guys running off the court right away. They're just embarrassed. They thought they would have a better time maybe against us, but we're once again heading to the finals, as there is Rex celebrating with the Western Conference Championship Award. And who's the MVP? It's probably Evans again. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. And it is. Evans literally gets it every single year. So Evans, if we continue to win championships or get even to the finals in the playoffs, there's a chance that Evans is going to go down as one of the most decorated players in NBA history. It's just insane. But what a game that was. Clutch threes. Like I said, that one bounce one was crazy. That one was more of an automatic one. And then that pass in the Bishop was huge. Very big victory. And just for fun, I am actually going to look at instant replay for a second. I do want to see if they're actually put our championship banners in the arena, because I know that's a thing, I'm pretty sure now. I just don't know how to get it to look at our banner specifically. Where would they be? Where? Oh, no, that's our Jumbotron. Oh my goodness, this is kind of disorienting, so sorry if you get dizzy or something, but do I see our banners anywhere? I don't think so. Unless it's just with the real teams that they have banners. I'm not sure. I thought I saw our banners before in the rafters, but maybe not. How do I change the camera again? Handheld. Orbit. I want it on orbit, but location? Where are all these locations? Yeah, I don't see our banners, I don't think. So maybe it's not with custom teams. But I would feel like it should be, but maybe not. Yeah, I don't think I see our banners. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to see all the banners or something like that from our championship wins. Yeah, I don't see them. That sucks. Oh, well, that is a crazy good game. Crazy good game. Let's take a look at the box score for it. So, yeah, Evans drops 21 points. Of course, a bit. Those came very late. I don't know why he only played 21 minutes, but still. Bishop on 19, 10, and 2. Very useful player in that game. We had Washburn on 17 points, which he was great. Warren was on 17. So, you see, Warren and Washburn, those two guys can make a huge difference off the bench. Rex on 13. We had Semenko, Anderson, Spencer all on 8 points. Obviously, Spencer's 8 points in 8 minutes. It came back to bite Dallas quite a bit. Westbrook on 7 points, Olivero 6, and that was it, basically. What about Dallas, for instance? How good was Flagg in that game? 28 points. Stockton 20. Vincent only had 19. They still had some good scoring for sure. But very nice victory for our team, and glad to see us back in the NBA Finals again. I am a little bit concerned that we're going to be running into a good team like Cleveland, because it looks like Cleveland might have just eliminated Toronto potentially. But I think obviously our team can win a 5th championship, but I'm very nervous to what Cleveland looks like on paper. But there it is, Western Conference MVP to Jerome Evans again. If we look at Jerome Evans' career now with all those championship awards and stuff like that, he is now, I guess, where's the Finals MVP, or no, Conference Finals MVP? And it doesn't show them, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know if it shows them or not, but he's been a really highly decorated player. And then it will be Cleveland we play in the finals, and their MVP, Johnny Buchanan. Johnny Buchanan. I remember that name from the All-Star game, I think. I'm pretty sure he's a good three-point shooter. Because, yeah, his three-point shooting, 34.8. Actually, it's not crazy good, but still. We're going to be going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals. Interesting. So, they take out Toronto 5 games. We took out Dallas in 5 games. We've only lost 1 game up to this point. They've only lost 4. So, it should be a pretty damn good matchup. All right, let's do a quick comparison because I don't want this episode to be too long. But it already kind of is at this point. If we look during the regular season, technically on paper, we were the best 2 teams in the league. So once again, it's kind of similar to when we played Philadelphia, but they only had 3 less wins than us all season. 3. It's not a huge discrepancy. We were both very similar points per game wise and defensively in the regular season too. If we look at playoff stats so far though, this should be an interesting one. Team stats. You can see we're 12-1, they're 12-4. We've been way better offensively. They've been quite a bit better defensively, though. So that's going to be a big interesting thing, is if our offense could play good or if their defense could play good. Field goal percentage, we've been much better than they have. 3-point percentage, we've been much better than they have. Free throw percentage, we've been much better than they have. Offensive rebounds, we're very similar. Defensive rebounds, they're better by a little bit. Reboundings per game, they have a little bit more rebounds. Assists per game we're better at. Steals per game we're better at. Blocks per game, they're a tiny bit better. So in general, I think we're better at them than everything. We both also foul at good amounts, so there might be a lot of free throw trips, potentially. All right, well, that's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. Let's take a comparison. First, we don't want to look at the roster fully, but I did see one of the players already, but if we look through some of their other stuff, mid-range shooting, 3-point shooting, layups are their strengths. Vertical is a weakness. There is their staff. Head coach Mason Yee. Frank Vogel still coaching, apparently. Aside from that, what else we got here? Their roster, I guess, now we'll look at. They did bring in Jeremiah Fears. I remember, did they make a trade with the first overall pick or one of them that involved Fears? I can't remember exactly. Or maybe he signed there in the offseason, but he's there now. Eddie Mullen, I still remember that guy. Johnny Buchanan's a 94. Derek Queen, 85, is there as well. He obviously used to be also with the Pelicans. Edmund Irving, Elton Walsh. This is a fantastic starting top 6. It might be better than ours almost in some ways. And this reminds me of our young team when we were really good in terms of depth. They might have some good bench options too, but this is a great Cleveland team. A great Cleveland team in terms of overalls. Because if you look at the teams that we played before them, they really dropped off around this point. But these guys have very good players all around, and Buchanan is the guy to lead the way there. He's like the Evans for us. They also have an 86 coming off the bench in their 7th spot. Yeah, they're like us. They are like us. We don't have an 87 in the 7th or 86 in the 7th spot anymore, but we did last year with Goodwin. So, yeah, this team might be better than ours on paper. It might be, because even Kaya Izzet is better than guys like Washburn and all that. Gus Vaughn's there too as an 82. Joshua Hendricks. Holy crap, this is a great team. How are they cap compliant? Because we're not cap compliant. Brian Jefferson, 77. Lou Shaw, Damian Murray. Obviously, it drops off at this point, but still, like, these guys are as good as our 6th and 7th guy, or not 6th and 7th, 7th and 8th guy. This is a really good team. What is their money situation? Oh, look, their profits in the negatives, just like us. So they're overspending. They have a negative 131% margin. We have a negative 449% margin. Oh my goodness, we're almost $1 billion in debt. And yeah, they're almost $400 million in debt. That is hilarious. Player payroll is the main reason on that for them. Ours is obviously all player payroll as well, but that is hilarious. So it's two teams that just like spending a lot of money. They just like to spend a lot of money. So that's going to be very interesting. I think obviously they might be the better team on paper because of some of that stuff. But if we find a way to win, it would be nice to have that 5th straight championship. If they win, I think they're going to start a dynasty potentially. And that's when we're obviously going to fall off a bit. But this is going to be an interesting finals nonetheless. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll have probably one of the more crazier finals we've ever had. I definitely think it go to 7 games, but with them having some better depth than us, I think they could even knock us out earlier than 7 games and really surprise us, because obviously we've never had a team actually be able to stand up against us really that well. And I think Cleveland is the type of team to do so. And like I said, if they have a lot of these guys signed in the next year, I think they could be a team that's going to be back in finals next year and years to come, as long as guys aren't retiring or dropping off too far as well. So, let us know below, and I'll see you guys next time.